Rumour has it Mark Webber blew up his first engine on the main street in Queanbeyan, a town founded in 1828. Oh, that could have just been something started on day 2 of the New South Wales Alphera Dutton rally. At the end of a wet day 1, battle lines were drawn, and Mark Berry and Russell Newman's GTR proved to be the car to beat. But there were others here for different reasons, from Ian Craigie's Tornado Ute to Samantha Stevens and Simone Backman's in a new Ford XR5 Turbo to Matt Cherry and Kim Ledger's Evo 6. All there for fun. One man who wasn't on pole position but was still demanding plenty of attention was Darren Park in his 2001 HSV R8, which runs a V8 supercar engine. A crowd favourite from way back. Check out Darren in action at Shepparton in 2004. And this is Darren now. It's good to know that some things never change. First of the day's 12 events was the Collette Street stage, a tight rat run through poles and cones in a converted Queanbeyan car park. And some conquered the 35-second challenge better than others. Go! Adam Hayek in his 1977 Ford Escort RS2000 had problems locating the right gear as he attempted to complete the stage. The course was sending a few cones to casualty, and it was becoming clear that small, agile cars had the advantage here. So it was no surprise to see Ian Craigie clear off a few. But it was a surprise when young Molly Taylor did. Samantha Stevens in the Focus XR5 mastered the course better than many, though the locals were enjoying the cone carnage more. From the tight Collette Street car park to the Fairbairn Park Hill Climb, and the first true test of speed and skill. With the undulating Q-shaped course a lot more challenging than it looks, with cones placed on the tricky corners. To tell us more is Rob Wall, SDMA Vice President. Hey Rob, just tell us a little bit about the complex here.
Well, the complex here started about 2000. The track itself was built about 20 odd years ago. We, the SDMA, took it over in about 2000 and we've kicked off from there. We're running events about, on the average, once a month, and it's a very handy little complex.
It's a great little track.
It is, very good. Unlike most hill climbs, we've got ups and downs, lots of corners, and it's a very challenging and complex circuit.
Now I've got to ask the question, being here in Queanbeyan, has Mark Webber driven the track?
Not that I'm aware of, not that I'm aware of. It'd be great to get him out here one day to just have a look at it though.
Maybe, has he driven past the track?
I would expect he's driven past the track. He did his go-karts just over the hill over here, and that's where he started. So he started within a couple of 100 yards of us.
Well, there you go, that's all you need.
That's all we need.
Now, what are some of the times people should be achieving around here?
The record is currently held by Peter Gumley, the current Australian champion. He's done it in a shade just under 38 seconds. Most of the average cars get round here in the low 50s to mid 50s, unless you've got a specialist car, four-wheel drives, etc. And you're looking at around 47.
So a 50-second time was the barrier to beat for an average car. And they don't come much more average than Michael Howell's 1990 Nissan Pulsar Vector. Now, Michael, what's the plan here?
I think we get a bit of traction into the tyres and warm them up and go for a hard one around the track.
How's the car going?
It's going well. Bit of understeer on the skid pan in the wet, but on the dry it's going well. Happy with it.
So what are you going to do here? What's the driving plan? First hang in second and rev the ring out of it?
Pretty much stay in first and only I think once or twice in second, that's about it. And just hit the limiter all the time.
Luke O'Neill's BMW M3 CS was looking to beat the 50-second mark, but on his first run was just shy with an oh-so-close 52.3. How's it going today?
Yeah, fantastic. Second run, so I'm keen to make amends. I left my new car on nanny mode on the first run around, and it was stopping. it was this traction control thing. So my other friend in M3 has just absolutely killed me, and it's my shout for beers if I don't beat him.
Luke O'Neill has done a 52.32 on his first run. He's coming up for his second run. The challenge will be to see if he can break the 50-second barrier, as he reckons he had the nanny button on his first run.
Luke never quite got there, scoring a 50.81 on the second run. And, had to buy the beers, 50.8.
Yeah, I know. I think actually, Glenn, I've got no excuse. That was crap. I think everyone's beating me, and I think it's my shout for the beers tonight.
Where's your mate?
I think he's still up on the hill, but I can hear him laughing from here, so I'm going to sheepishly walk up there and cop what's coming to me. Good old Dutton rally, copping crap all weekend. Thanks, guys.
As Luke had no one but himself to blame for his tardy performance on the hill climb, we suggested he speak to Murcott's, the official driver training organisation for Duttons, to help improve his times. So Fred, firstly, for those who are the uninitiated, Murcott's driving school, what's it involve?
Murcott's Murcott's really is the premium national driver training organisation. Our head office is in Melbourne. We're at Sandown, for instance, for over 220 days a year, but we do driver training in each state, so it's quite a big involved thing. But it's also fun. It's also fun, and we're lucky enough to have Jamie Lovett and Matthew Vardy here, and we've taken them through some training courses, some driver training courses, and we're competing in the 2006 Alphera Dutton.
And the association with this rally in particular, why is that?
We're lucky enough to be chosen as the official driver training organisation, so before each event we do have a couple of days, or one day depending upon which state, where competitors can come along and we talk. We have a little half-an-hour PowerPoint presentation on vehicle dynamics, and then we go out and do some practical exercises. So we might do launching, braking into the gates, we do corner braking, power on, power off, and then we actually practice some of the Dutton exercises.
It's a great rally though, isn't it?
It's a great rally, and look, I've been lucky enough, I've had a fairly interesting career. I've worked overseas in Formula One, done Le Mans a couple of times as a mechanic with Vern Schuppen. It's really nice to see an event where everyone's just enjoying motoring, you know, and there's no pressure. There is some competitive guys and girls out there though, of course, but it's also having fun, and fun's good.
So on behalf of Luke O'Neill, we asked Jamie Lovett and Matthew Vardy, the two lucky comp winners, how the Murcott's training had helped.
I'd say just car control, just balancing the car, where to brake, how hard, balancing was the biggest key that I've picked up, I reckon.
How'd you enjoy yesterday in the wet?
Yeah, it was challenging. There's a few sort of hairy moments there, but you just got to sort of keep focused and keep the vision up, and we got through the day and we had a bit of fun as well, so yeah, it was good.
Cool. Jamie, the event, what do you think of it?
Lots and lots of fun. Yesterday we were not doing so well. We still went out. End of the day we were still happy, Today we've done a lot better. It's a very social event. It's good.
Cool. Do you think you'll do a few more of them?
Yeah, definitely. This is my second Dutton Rally. Did the Victorian one last year. Yeah, hopefully we'll just learn something along the way, and just try and keep improving for the next round later in the year.
And the boys also learned the value of warming up their tyres.
Oh, we've sort of come up with a new technique, nothing to do with Murcott's. If you just use the handbrake, lock the rear wheels, and if you sit there and just spin them on the spot, you can speed ahead into them straight away.
Now that's a burnout.
And it gets you a good launch?
Yeah, very good.
So what does make a winning Dutton's car? Well, who better to ask than resident winner Martin Ataris.
The four-wheel drive cars are a good package to begin with. Power is normally not an issue, but the car is light. That's another thing that I've done myself, is taken a bit of weight out of it.
How have you taken the weight out of it?
Well, as you can see, the doors, the black doors are actually carbon fibre, and they weigh, they save us about 36 kilos. And 36 kilos is a lot of weight, and it means a lot of horsepower.
What about some of the tricks for driving for a Dutton rally?
Well, with the Dutton rallies, because they've got such a wide variety of events, you've sort of, you got to pick your events that you want to really push hard on. I tend to pick some of the Motorcanas because the car is better suited to the squirt and point type setup, and just be consistent on the other stuff.
Now, also, what about things like handbrakes and all that? Have you done anything like that to help with the motorcarners?
Yeah, I put in a hydraulic handbrake after Mossy got pretty clever up in Queensland and made the motorcarners so the Evos couldn't actually turn around in one turning circle. I thought I've got to put a handbrake in that actually works. So I've spent a bit of time. I did that, put a hydraulic handbrake in, and now I can turn on a dime.
Now, they reckon you're serious.
Don't believe anything you hear. I love my motorsport. And I try hard.
The final destination for day 2 was the Sutton Road complex. 4 tests, including a swimming pool disguised as a very wet skid pan. Having had enough of the wet the day before, most competitors approached the skid pan with caution. Not so for Leo Yu, who was obviously suffering withdrawals after being saturated for the entire duration of the previous day. But not all competitors took to it like a duck to water. Johnny Borland in the 2003 BMW M3 was more like an albatross. The Sutton Road stage was the big challenge. The daunting road section was formerly used for police driver training and made even more difficult with 4 tight chicanes. And speaking of big, how about David Nolan and Matthew Davis in the 66 Mustang? Now fellas, what's the long and the short of it all?
Yeah, that's an interesting point. We had to take all of the cushioning out of the seat so that my head doesn't hit the roof, so I sit on the floor of the car.
And I sit on a bit of foam.
David sits on a couple of phone books, and we slide the seat as far forward as we can possibly slide it. So yeah, it's interesting. We have quite a bit of effort in our changeovers between races, but it's good fun.
It's actually not fun, Glenn. If you have a look at our roll cage, Matt's head misses it by about that much, and he physically sits on the floor.
Hey, tell us the history of the car, David.
The car, we've had the car for about 3 years. 351 Windsor, 9-inch rear end, high-speed gearbox, too much oversteer, not enough brakes.
So you're enjoying the rally?
It's great. I mean, it's the first time that we've had to go at it in anger, and we're learning the car's learning us, and we're learning that we're not as good as we dreamt we were.
And it's good to see the old muscle cars still out there, banging it around. We're not quite as quick as the little four-wheel drive Subarus and Mitsubishis, but we seem to draw the crowd with the growl of the V8.
And the noise.
Father and son team Eddie and Simon Badis proved that old dogs can learn new tricks in their 1985 Alfa Romeo GTV with respectable times around the 1 minute mark. While Leo Yu's 56.7 earned him 4th outright for the stage, his co-driver Andrew Penny just couldn't beat it. The Dutton Rally attracts all makes and models, but almost a third of the field is Japanese, like the Mitsubishi Evo 6 of KS Koo and David Dalrymple. KS hitting a hat or two on each of the Sutton Road runs. A sub-60-second run would slot you into the top 20, and Danny Joseph's WRX would have done it if he didn't knock down a cone, which was a 5-second penalty. Dan Vrubel's SDI was just a second off, co-driver Kerry Smith even going 1/10 faster. Michael Hill's Boxster S was fast, but not fast enough to crack a 60. But not everyone was counting their tenths. Some were more interested in having a fun time in the family, like the 1976 Tirana of Alex and Gary Williams, or the Ford XR8 Ute of John and Peter Medlin. The second test was a simple quarter-mile drag race of a different kind, tracing a flowing corner with 2 chicanes to test brakes and bravery. Glenn Smith, in his beast of an Evo 6, realised he'd released a monster he couldn't control just a little too late, cleaning up cones on the last chicane and going from 5th to 59. While Dutton Pro Martin Atara shows how it's done, setting the fastest time on the stage. With a time that fast, all the rest could do was try their best. The dry skid pan was home to a tough 4-leaf clover test that let a few hang it all out. Martin Ataris may have been fastest in his Evo 8, but Leo Yu proved you don't need all-wheel drive or a turbo with the second fastest time, just 0.2 slower. And some reminded us that you don't even need traction, like Alex Williams in his 1976 Holden Tirana. Hitting a hat really hurts, but so does missing a gate. Craig Rogers' Tornado copping a 5-second penalty and dropping to 80th. But the day's most bizarre incident belonged to Mark Hammond, whose Audi TT brought parts of Queanbeyan to a standstill by blocking the town's access bridge.
You don't realise what an inconvenience this is?
A small inconvenience?
What happened?
The wheel decided to leave the vehicle while travelling over the bridge. Luckily came to a stop without any civilians being injured, but yeah, we're just trying to clear it up and get it out of the way now so we can move on and go forward and hopefully carve up Eastern Creek tomorrow. So what we have here is a poor quality spacer, and wheels apparently, according to our PR Racing Technology, not suitable for this vehicle.
Do any damage to the car?
Car's looking good, ready to rock for tomorrow.
There you go, mate. These are yours.
Thanks, Doug.
Mark was lucky that the Queanbeyan comp had a sense of humour.
Now, do I get the defect book out?
I'd appreciate maybe no, like a good behaviour bond maybe for the rest of my Canberra stay.
Oh, okay. We'll let you go this time.
Thank you very much.
Well, mate.
Appreciate it.
See ya. Good luck.
So at the end of day 2 in the prestigious Teams Award, Greg Muller and David Pittman sat their Evo 8 in 5th. Anthony Grace and Steve Tonner's STA was in 4th, behind the defending champions of Nataris and Arthur. But the big news was perennial runner-ups Greg Sutton and Bernie Wilson had displaced the Mark Berry and Russell Newman combination for first. But would it stay that way? We'll find out after the break for the third and final day of the New South Wales Alphera Dutton Rally.